Welcome to Big Idea, Hardly, where you can learn something new in just a few minutes. Today, we listen to Babas, the book How to Train Your Human, a cat's guide in which we probe into mastering human behavior through subtle feline influence and training to establish a harmonious cohabitation. Barbara Capone, aka Babas, worked in one of the most important international advertising agencies for years. Don't go away. Hardly, the editor will be right back with the story. In this book, the key to understanding how to live with humans lies in our ability to subtly influence and train them to fit our needs and preferences. The essence of this relationship is not about domination, but about establishing a balance where both parties can coexist harmoniously, with us, the cats, subtly guiding the dynamics. This book gives us the tools to achieve this balance through a series of strategies that are both ingenious and effective. Understanding the human psyche. To begin with, understanding the human psyche is crucial. Humans are complex creatures, often driven by their own desires and impulses. They are social animals who rely heavily on verbal communication, but their actions are often contradictory. For instance, they may say they love you while simultaneously planning to restrict your freedom by putting you in a carrier. It's important to remember this duplicity, typical of the species, as the book notes, partly because, as it is not a feline characteristic, it is likely to take you by surprise time and again, as though for the first time. One story that illustrates this point involves the infamous Prince Leopoldino, a cat of extraordinary beauty and intelligence. He learned to manipulate his human's emotions by combining subtlety with precise timing. Whenever his human was about to shut him in a carrier, Prince Leopoldino would emit a soft purr, nuzzle against the human's leg. And then, just as the human's resolve began to falter, he would look directly into their eyes with a gaze full of trust. The human, overwhelmed by affection, would delay or even abandon the attempt to confine him. This demonstrates how understanding human behavior can allow us to exert influence without direct confrontation. Training through rituals. The establishment of rituals is another fundamental aspect of mastering human behavior. Rituals are comforting to humans. They offer a sense of predictability and security. By creating and reinforcing daily rituals, we can subtly train our humans to fulfill our needs without them even realizing they are being trained. The book describes this as a process where you must display your beauty before it. Walk, show it how it's done. Sit, show it how it's done. This isn't just about showing off. It's about embedding yourself into the fabric of their daily routine, ensuring they cater to your needs as part of their own. A classic example of this is the morning ritual developed by the famous Luigino da Poponaya, a ginger tomcat from Lake Como. Every morning, as the alpha female of the house prepared breakfast, Luigino would jump onto the table, placing his paw gently on her hand. This simple act of hand-in-hand contact became a cherished part of the morning routine, to the extent that the human would not start eating until Luigino had joined her. Through this ritual, Luigino ensured he was always first to receive a taste of whatever was being served, reinforcing his position as a cherished member of the household. Exploiting human weaknesses. Exploiting human weaknesses is also a critical strategy discussed in the book. Humans have a deep-seated need to feel loved and appreciated, and they often project this need onto their pets. By selectively showing affection, we can manipulate their actions to our advantage. As the book notes, purring must be used with abundance and generosity, and it will provide the sound basis for other seduction techniques. Captain Fracasse, another feline mentioned in the book, mastered this technique to perfection. He would strategically position himself on the dining table during mealtimes, inching closer to the humans with every passing moment. His tactic involved stretching his paw slowly toward a piece of food, appearing almost disinterested. But if that didn't work, he'd swiftly snatch the morsel with a well-timed swipe. If the humans caught him, they would inevitably laugh and share their food willingly. Charmed by his audacity and cuteness, Captain Fracasse's story underscores how exploiting a human's affection can lead to rewards far greater than what might be achieved through direct demands. Manipulating the environment. Finally, manipulating the environment is an essential part of this training. Humans are creatures of habit, and by subtly altering their environment, we can guide them into behavior patterns that suit our preferences. For instance, the book emphasizes the importance of selecting the perfect resting spot, preferably one pre-warmed by the human, to establish your dominance over the household territory. Occupy the area when the biped lies down, or even better, just before it does, it advises. This small but significant act trains the human to respect your comfort and prioritize it over their own. A particularly insightful story involves Bicha, the gray kitty, who had a penchant for sitting on guests' coats or handbags, especially those of visitors who were allergic to cats. By doing so, Bicha ensured that the humans would pay extra attention to her, offering her treats, or even a dedicated spot away from the commotion, thereby reinforcing her importance in the social hierarchy of the home. This not only amused Bicha, but also subtly trained the humans to keep her needs at the forefront of their minds, even when distracted by guests. In conclusion, mastering human behavior through subtle feline influence is not about overt control, but about creating a symbiotic relationship where humans are gently guided to act in ways that benefit both parties. By understanding their psyche, establishing rituals, exploiting their weaknesses, and manipulating their environment, we can ensure that our lives are both comfortable and fulfilling. As the editor of Hardly, by learning these techniques, we can envision a future where our influence is wielded with such subtlety and finesse that it becomes an art form, creating a world where harmony and mutual respect define every interaction. In this book, we've explored the nuanced art of subtly influencing and training humans to create a harmonious living environment. This approach isn't about domination, but about achieving a balance where both parties benefit, with the feline subtly guiding the dynamics. Through understanding human psychology, establishing rituals, exploiting their weaknesses, and manipulating the environment, we've seen how a cat can truly master its human. One last story from the book exemplifies this mastery. Pongo, a mighty black cat with a strong sense of justice, once found himself in a tricky situation. When his fellow feline, Luigino, got his head stuck in a plastic bag and panicked. Pongo assumed the human cub trying to help was actually causing harm. Without hesitation, Pongo launched a fierce attack on the cub, misunderstanding the situation entirely. The chaos under the dresser was intense, but in the end, Pongo's intentions were clear. He was protecting his fellow cat. The humans, recognizing Pongo's noble, albeit misguided, actions, forgave him entirely, and his reputation as the household guardian was cemented. This story underscores how, even when mistakes are made, a well-trained human will understand and appreciate the cat's intentions. In closing, the subtle influence and training of humans can lead to a life of comfort and mutual respect. As the editor of Hardly, by mastering these techniques, we can shape a future where our interactions with others are characterized by subtlety, understanding, and an almost invisible yet powerful influence that brings out the best in everyone.